Did you know? If you go back to Boz after disabling the revolving bridge, he actually acknowledges that you did it. I didn't know this until I lost about an hour of footage and had to spend around 4 hours to get it back. So, got something out of it at least. Anyway, we can now finally make our return to Lord Lake, which is now just a short distance from Rathfleet. We talk to Talgel when we enter, who tells us Lord Lake has heard of Salambaro's betrayal. This knowledge that the citizens of Lord Lake have suffered for so long due to the political schemes of others has crushed even Talgel's optimism. He remains civil, but his patience for us is clearly wearing thin. We tell him we'd like to help, but he simply asks us to follow him to the clinic. We learn that the mean doctor lady who kicked us out before is called Dr. Silva. She tries to kick us out again, but Talgel asks her to let us see the patients. I don't think I need to tell you why there are so many sick people in Lord Lake. They're all severely dehydrated, and what water they do have is probably contaminated. As Silva says, there isn't much she can do without a clean water source. Leon suggests moving the sick to Rathfleet since it's close by and obviously has an abundance of water. The doctor says that such a solution would only be temporary since when they return, they probably end up in the same situation. Leon then asks the very reasonable question of why they don't just stay in Rathfleet, to which Talgel says everyone who wanted to leave Lord Lake did long ago. And here I have a bit of an issue. Now I'll admit I'm not one for taking pride in where I'm from, so I'm kind of biased here, but why the fuck wouldn't you move? Make Lord Lake 2 on a place that, has a lake still. I mean, there's kids here. You're telling me you aren't going to take your kids to live in a place that has water. I think kids like water. They like to drink things to sustain their bodies. That's just friggin' irresponsible if you ask me. Now, I get it has to be this way for the story, but I do wish they had a better explanation for why people stay. Like maybe the barrows have guards posted in the surrounding area to stop anyone from leaving or something.
Prince, it looks like the only way to save this town is to somehow get the water to return.
Hey you guys!
Oh, it's you.
Hey, did you just say something about helping this town? Don't make me laugh. We would never even think of accepting help from you guys. What are you looking at?
Whether you want help from us or not, the fact is, we want to help, we feel we should help, and so that's what we're gonna do.
I don't understand. Why do you guys care so much? Whatever. If you really want to help that bad, go ahead. But there's just one thing. I'm gonna keep an eye on you. Make sure you do it right. I can't have you guys messing up everything, can I?
Are you saying you want to come with us?
Of course, that's what I'm saying. How am I supposed to keep an eye on you if I don't come with you?
Well, taking children into dangerous situations seems to be our MO, so we decide to let the sassy child come along. His name is Toma, and he doesn't like us very much. We return to Rathfleet and the Dahaka to inform Lucretia of our meeting in Lord Lake. Kisara mentions that the only way to help them is probably by doing something about Hatred Fortress. Toma rushes in, asking what we're going to do to the fortress damming his lake. He also starts being polite, but quickly realizes that's not sassy at all. Raja and Lucretia begin theorizing what it would take to attack Hatred Fortress, noting that every battle we've fought so far, we've been on the defensive. Lucretia concludes that, though it may be possible, it wouldn't be in our odds to attack the fortress head-on with the forces we have now. To even the odds, Lucretia asks us to get our secret weapon. Beavers. The Beavers. They built Hatred Fortress, but only after being forced to by Godwin's soldiers. I like Raja's line here. I don't know, I just giggle at the thought of a grizzled old war veteran saying, well, those furry little guys just want to be left alone in their furry little beaver village. Toma has no sympathy for the beavers. He wants to fuck those beavers up, man. Don't mess with the kids' water. Lucretia insists that we must seek their aid peacefully and wishes us good luck in doing so, and in handling Toma's bloodlust. Before we leave, Lucretia stops us and says she might have a backup plan, but it's a bit of a long shot. She asks us to lend her Cius and Lele's services to follow up on it. The two guards are more than happy to serve, Lele especially if you don't get the hint yet. Lucretia doesn't tell them where they're going, but mentions that she wants to meet with someone stubborn that would only talk to her.
Now then, princess, please enter.
Be quiet. This is my castle, remember? I don't need a guide.
Welcome. I've been waiting for you.
Oh my, hold on. Jean, the rune mistress, has been employed by the Godwins to try and affix the sun rune onto Lim. Lim is clever here, noting that Gazelle and the Godwins probably don't want her to have the power of a nuclear bomb cause yeah, she's not a fan of them. Gazelle seems confident, but Lim calls his bluff and asks Jean to attune the rune. Jean gets to work, but quickly it becomes obvious that the rune cannot be used by Lim no more than it can be used by Gazelle. Jean says there are certain qualifications that must be met in order to use the sun rune, but neither she nor Gazelle knows what those are. Lim is furious, thinking Gazelle knew it wouldn't work and was just toying with her. The Godwin says he didn't know for sure and was ready to die to know. Lim storms off, and Gazelle tells Jean he has another job for her in the future. After he leaves, Jean talks to herself ominously about it being time. Back in Rathfleet, we need to make our way to the Beaver Lodge, but we don't know where the hell to go. It's entirely possible to get stuck at this point because we actually have to go and talk to Raja to find out our next destination, Yashuna Village. Why she couldn't have told us before, I don't know, but regardless, we can now talk to Log to go to this new location. There's no introductory cutscene for Yashuna Village, which kind of throws off the flow of my video here, but whatever, game. Yashuna is known for its hot springs, being given the title the Village of Restoration. It's said that bathing in the springs has a genuine restorative property. Oh, we found a chest containing the arrow stance tactic also. Many of the people here are tourists seeking to use these springs. The arrow stance tactic has us forming an arrowhead with our party, useful if we have one big tank we want to take all the damage for us. Yashuna actually has two inns, one a normal inn we can rest at, and the Tricolor Inn. Here we see a handling appointments for the springs. A customer comes out calling the beaver maroon and saying he had a great bath. A woman and her daughter arrive, with the young daughter asking for the beaver to take a bath with her. Obviously, this beaver lady is well liked around here. She tells us we can go ahead into the springs, but we actually can't right now, so we head on out. In a chest just outside the springs, we find the Prosperity Sandals, another armor piece that'll increase the pots we get for winning battles. Next, we burst into this house that isn't ours. Turns out it's owned by a cat. A white cat. We take its Mother Earth piece. Finally, we go to ransack another house and find a chest containing a Cyclone piece. Yashuna is nice, but there's only one beaver there and we need a lot of beavers. Our destination is a short walk south where we come across a path through the mountains. The mountain path isn't really that noteworthy. It's a very short transitory area with unremarkable enemies and no treasure. There is one thing here that took about 30 minutes of running in circles to get, however. Like, literally running around in circles. There's a certain encounter we need here. Just as we're about to give up and look at a walkthrough to make sure we remembered correctly, we finally get it. An elf. Luckily, we brought Cornelio and his thick ass along to stare longingly into Sola T's eyes and recruit them. The Beaver Lodge is east of where we exit the mountain pass. When we arrive at the furry little village, all its furry little inhabitants scream for their lives, thinking the big mean humans have come to murder them all. Toma might want to murder them all, but for now it seems like he'll settle for capturing one. Much like Rathfleet, we navigate the Beaver Lodge through narrow bridges over water. We can't go anywhere here really, as all the beavers have hidden away in their homes. There is one door we can enter, however.
What's this ball of fur?
Hello! Welcome, everyone!
Wow, the ball of fur talks.
I am the head of Beaver Lodge. Fuwala Fuwalu is my name. No, that's all right. I really don't need to know who you are, where you're from, or what you came here to do. Yeah, I don't want to have to be involved, you see.
Huh?
Except, young man there, you're from Lord Lake, aren't you?
Yeah, that's right.
I see. I guess I really do have to speak then. We really want to apologize to the people of Lord Lake. We're very, very sorry.
Huh? What good are apologies gonna do? Because of that stupid fortress you built, Lord Lake is ruined. Now what are you gonna do about it?
Listen to him talk. You humans were the ones who got us involved in the conflict in the first place.
Come on, Maroon. That's enough now.
But Elder...
Now, brother, don't be so confrontational, okay? My name is Maroon. I am the one who designed that fortress and gave all the orders when it was being built. If anybody, blame me.
What?
The Godwins could have easily wiped us out at any time if they'd wanted to. We didn't have a choice. I don't expect you to forgive us, but I wanted you to know what we were up against.
Wait, back up a second there. Did I just hear you right? Did you just say you designed that fortress?
Huh? Yes, that's right.
Great, then you can tell us how to destroy it.
Huh?
These guys said they want to wreck that fortress, so tell us how to do it.
What did you say?
Is that really true?
We explained the situation to Fuwalu. The smaller beaver Maroon wishes to help upon hearing this to make up for their past deeds. Fuwala agrees but mentions that Hatred Fortress is nigh impenetrable. Maroon, which, yes, this is going to get confusing. Maroon is the short one, Maroon is the one with the weird peanut eyes. Maroon says that destroying the fortress is basically impossible in terms of simple destruction. Still, the beavers did build the thing, so they might be able to help in our plans. Maroon asks to come with us for this purpose, and we bring him along. On our way out, we steal Fuwala Fuwalu's flowing rune piece, cause we're awful. When we exit, we find the beavers have come out of hiding, but also, strangely enough, Lucretia has arrived at the lodge. We tell her we have the cooperation of the beavers, but they aren't sure if it's possible to dismantle Hatred Fortress at all. This is where Lucretia's mysterious meeting comes in, as she asks us to go to a place called Saris Lake. Also, she's not sorry about this at all. Going where she tells us is like 80% of this game. Right? She says we're to meet a man there who isn't evil. Well, maybe isn't evil. Okay, good. This maybe evil man could be the key to destroying the fortress. Fuwalu and Maroon come out to greet Lucretia. The tactician asks them if they could assist her in building something to save Lord Lake. She of course doesn't say what that thing is, so she can surprise us with it later. Getting to Saris Lake isn't immediately obvious, but we have to head back through the mountain pass, sans Doremi Elf, and head back to Yashuna Village. There we head southwest until we reach this rock formation by a large lake, presumably Saris Lake, of course.
So you've come.
So, you're a friend of Lucretia's?
I don't know her well enough to call her a friend, but she did tell me about you. First things first, though. Show me the Dawn Rune.
We show the Dawn Rune to the... When he's satisfied, he asks us to follow him inside the cave. Toma and Maroon ask why, and like everyone else, he refuses to tell us just what the hell we're going to be doing until the last second. He does tell us his name, however, Zweig. Zweig says he's a scholar, but in a mysterious way, and leads us along.
Stop right there!
You again, Lorelei? I told you to stop sneaking around after me.
How come these guys can go with you and I can't? They're nothing but a bunch of women and children!
You do fall under those categories yourself, you know.
Hey, you! I don't like weaklings, and you look about as frail as they come.
There she goes again.
I don't care what Zweig says. You gotta be stronger than me if you want to pass.
Prince, let me take care of this.
Come on, show me what kind of man you are.
The duel with Lorelei isn't much harder than the one with Chuck. She can throw you off with some of her lines, but in general, if she sounds on the back foot, she'll guard. If she sounds confident, she'll special, and if it's a fairly neutral battle cry, she'll attack. Other than that, she do the whip, she do the nine. We hit her with stick, make her go ow.
One more time? Think you can take it this time? I'm still fine. I can still fight. You're stronger than I thought. Hey, you'll pay for that. Here comes another one. What did you do, give up? You gotta come at me, too. Is that all it takes? I'll do it again, then.
Lorelei is fairly dejected after her loss. As we start to move further in the cave, she stops us and asks if she can come with us inside. And I mean, alright, sure. Hey, I'm the fucking prince here, Zweig. I got the symbol on my hand. I'm the protag, right? Zweig acquiesces, but only on the condition that Lorelei do what she's told while inside. Maroon points out the obvious and asks just what we're going inside of when there's just a big wall in front of us. Zweig goes to the wall and oh my, it's a secret door. Turns out the cave is hiding ancient ruins of a lost civilization, the Sindar civilization to be specific. The Sindar are, look, you've probably heard this story 1,000 times. Ancient lost civilization that had advanced technologies and ruins scattered throughout the land. Okay, it's not the most unique story element in this game, but it's not a huge focus, so don't worry too much about it. As they're discussing the ruins, we learn Zweig and Lorelei seemingly did not come here together as they both congratulate the other for finding the ruins. Toma asks if there's a way to destroy Hatred Fortress within these ruins, which is the first Zweig's heard about such a thing. He says it's a possibility though, and is also pretty rude, to be frank. We start in a center chamber with a waterfall blocking our way forward. There are two doorways to the east and west. We go west first. Now these are ruins in a cave, so we can expect to run into similar enemies we have before, like bats and slugs and... oh. We in the big time now, ain't we? The embryo, which is the big wheel thing that, yes, kind of looks like a fetus, is actually more likely to flee than fight us. They drop a lot of potch though, so it's usually worth it to damage them down if we can. The ghost shields are probably the most annoying enemies we've come across so far, as they have incredibly high physical defense, almost to the point where it's pointless to attack them with a character that doesn't have a very high attack like Zagai. Luckily, Lorelei comes with a lightning rune and a lot of spell uses, giving us a bit of a buffer here, but without prepping some spellcasting runes before, we'd be doing a lot of running in this dungeon. Shortly into this passage, we find a big floor switch, which we of course step on. It opens a door further in, though it's kind of hard to tell exactly where that door is. We also come across some Skelegons, who are pretty basic enemies, but stronger than most we've come across so far. They multi-attack a lot, making our front line vulnerable if there's too many of them. Past the floor switch, we pass through a doorway into a large chamber. All that's in here is a chest containing a guardian scarf, a nice magical defense accessory. We head back to the entrance, going south this time. There we find the door we opened, yay! Inside we find another floor switch, which opens another door. Reaching an intersection, we go south to find a chest containing a Robe of Destiny, a very nice armor upgrade that fits on a lot of characters. Continuing west, we enter another large chamber with a big-ass button in the middle of it. Stepping on it seems to make the waterfall that we could probably just walk through diminish a little bit. We also find a chest containing an old, smelly book. Returning to the center chamber, we now go east. After a long hallway and an intersection, we come to a T-section, to the south of which we find a chest containing a window set. To the north, we find another diverging path, but ahead of us lies another floor switch, and you know what? We ought to step on it. Down the other path, we find... ooh, we gotta do another floor switchy thing, don't we? And we do! I'll spare you the particulars, but that other floor switch opens a door to another floor switch, which opens another door to a big floor switch, which lowers the waterfall some more, so we can eventually get through that door after we hit another floor switch. And also this hidden chest that contains the Tiger Tactic, a useful aggressive formation. Going back to the path we were blocked from before, we find the final big floor switch and a chest containing basic magic. This is actually a far more important item than its name and location would imply, as it allows us to train our character's magic skills past the sea level if they're able to. With the apparently impassable water gone, we return to the center chamber and walk north.
This was as far as I got before. I couldn't get this door to budge.
This pattern, doesn't it look like the Dawn Rune?
Yes, and that's exactly why I brought you here. You didn't think I brought outsiders here as a mere favor to Lucretia, did you?
So that's why.
Come, Prince. Bring forth your power. My intuition was right.
I don't believe it. These ruins are still alive?
Wait! You promised you'd do what you were told.
Oh. All right.
Even I don't know what's beyond this point. You better be careful.
Turns out what's beyond that point is a whole lot of water. This chamber confirms a theory of Zwei's about the nature of Sarah's Lake. The Phaetus River flows directly into the lake, and yet the lake does not overflow. Most thought there was a hole at the bottom that led underground, but this area shows that the Sindar made Sarah's Lake and drained the water here. Whoa, sudden boss fight. And it's actually a doozy of a boss fight. In fact, I'd say it's the first real one of the game, in that it's actually probable that you'll lose if you come unprepared. The Diamond Suns, as they're called, look the same and have the same name, but are actually separate enemies. The one on the right has a high magical defense, and the one on the left has a high physical defense. Nothing about them hints at this, so the only way to find out is by hitting them and noticing how much damage you're doing. The idea here is if you have a party leaning towards physical attacks, go for the right one first, and vice versa if you have a lot of magic. Since the only random character we're using for this dungeon is Zagai, and Maroon and Zweig don't have a lot of magic at this point, we go for the right one first. The bosses have a lot of health. This isn't going to be another cast icy winds and kill everyone situation. All their attacks are spells that hit multiple people, the scariest one being Earthquake, which hits the entire party and has a chance to unbalance them, making them skip their next turn. A few unlucky hits from those, and it won't matter how well prepared you are. Because the fight is rather long and everyone's taking damage, healing items like medicine are really valuable here, especially on a quick character like Maroon. It's very important we get one of the Diamond Suns down as soon as possible, as dealing with both doing AoE damage every turn is going to drain our resources to the point where we can't keep up. When one does go down, the fight becomes much more relaxed, but we're still in for a fight. With our healing and offensive spells depleting, we have to make careful decisions on who to keep alive to give us the best chance of surviving. Eventually, however, we take the Guardians down. After the boss fight, hold on, I'm gonna go save so I don't have to do that shit again. After the boss fight, we continue into a room with 3 pedestals and tablets with ancient writings. More important, though, is the giant dawn rune symbol on the wall that starts glowing as we enter. Zweig notes that this writing is in Sindar and that the, quote, ruins work perfectly. Naturally, everyone's confused, and naturally Zweig doesn't tell us anything. Toma gets impatient and asks where this key to destroying Hatred Fortress is. Zweig says they've already found the key and it's all over Sarah's Lake. Toma doesn't understand because he's from Lord Lake and he doesn't know what water is anymore. With that, we're done with the ruins for now and we head outside.
Prince, that lady wasn't there a second ago, was she?
I didn't see her before either.
Hey, you there! What's the name of this country?
Huh?
What a strange thing to ask. Why wouldn't you know what country you were in?
Yeah, well, you know, things happen, and couldn't you just tell me? Please, please? It's the Queendom of Felena. What? Is that place still around? Oh, great. Now it looks like I missed another big meal. What do I do now?
Prince, this lady is off a rocker. Come on, let's get out of here.
Okay, I made up my mind. I'm Vicky. It must be fate, us running into each other like this. Would you mind watching over me?